Hello guys, it's me Kashi. I'm gonna just be doing some like quick WOD reviews of my own gameplay, and sorry the screen's a little bit scratched. I forgot to record this video on full screen, but it is what it is. You can see the cards, and that's kind of what matters. I'm just gonna talk about what I think about my hands, what I'm doing, and then I might sometimes pause the recording just to talk about stuff, and let's just move on from there. So yeah, first game against Cindra. I'm going second. It's always a good start. I'm just blocking out. Yeah, block with CNC chain link 1. Block the kiss chain link 2. Not really much going on. Oh yeah, I guess I should say it. I kept the mark and the rain and the stains because they like work well together, and it's like a way of doing disruption on turn 0. So this hand's nice. It's just an extra reaction speed, numbers. Really simple. Mark, flick, stains, codex. We're just trying to make sure the Cindra has as little cards as they can, and we do as much as we can numbers wise. So, my opponent is currently showing that they might block with 2 cards to block 4. Obviously, we'll wait for it to be like locked in before we make our decision. But if he blocks 4, knowing that this is going to be 4, our opponent must know that we're not going to just skip turn. So we probably have like, they might be playing around 1 react. So if they're playing around 1 react, that means they probably have a D react. And they're quite common for the Cindras to have the 0 for free D react, because when they see 2 of them, it lets them have a big turn. So I think I used both to stay into the red back, but I think I reflected on it a little bit after I pressed both of them, and I was like, wait, if I only play one of them, because I have the Codex of Inertia, if they do have the D-React and it's from the Arsenal, I could like wait for them to D-React, and then the Inertia goes crazy. Like it makes them discard another card. Obviously that was just a bit of a, if I thought about it more in the moment, it could have been really good for me. It was a direct novel, so we wouldn't have like done anything good, but just little lines like that, it's like useful to think about. The opponent's hitting us for 3 cards. We're probably just going to look to block the 3rd card, which represents the mass trigger. We have a D-react, so we'll have an easier time doing it. So we just say no blocks to all these numbers. They don't matter to us. Oh, turns out there is no mask trigger. But we have this D-react that's not going to be able to do anything, which is a bit sad. So we're probably just still going to block on this one with a D-react and just be like, ah, we'll just pretend to ourselves our opponent had a 4. Oh, looks like we reverted back to the start. I think we found out there was a better line that they could have done to help threaten the mask. Yeah. It was like, we were like, why you should at least threaten the mask in your bad turn. So we're still not getting good value for our D-react, but at least we don't feel too upset, because at least we can tell ourselves we blocked this mass trigger. There's like thinking, but every card in the hand works reasonably well. So we're gonna go Hunter's Clave, pitching, play the Orb Weaver, get the red mark back, and then do another threatening on hit. So we make them discard and threaten another card in their hand. We're very happy with this turn cycle. No reason to cycle any of our cards. And because we're in base mode, the on hit from the mark is nice, because if they do take it, we get the extra damage from the Calypso that we'll be getting from the Spinneret. So far, been really nice for us. We've had disruption to disruption. We're going second. This is like when the matchup is most favorable. It looks like we're just yeah, I am testing with friends, so whenever there's like moments for like stuff that we need to undo, it's completely fine. We don't mind doing it. Looks like the same thing's happening. I think maybe they forgot to use Cindra, so we just did an undo. Yeah. Yeah, 10 as always, just Dagger, Orb, Codex, Red Mark. Keep up the disruption, keep up the tempo. The opponent just chooses one of the starter for the next turn. Probably have a D-React here. Yeah. So it looks like I'm going to assume an attack pass for my opponent. So we get a Prognosis. We just block with the generic CNC because we're gonna we have the disruption from Arsenal with the funnel web. Our opponent then realized, wait, you have funnel web. I guess I now just have to do more than free pass. So we just get value from the CNC block because we don't want to use this card. And the reason we block on the first one is our opponent might pass anyways, and just they attack us to the card we do know and play into the funnel web. So, but our hand doesn't really like do much, so we're just happy to convert it into free value on these blues. I think we're going to be looking to go Saver, draw a card, and then use Prognosis for 4. Because that way we like make the buff from the funnel web feel valuable. We can probably, I think we Tunicate, because then we can go Prognosis, discard Prognosis, and then Arsenal the card that we do draw. There is an argument to maybe save the Tunic, but I think we want to try and develop reds in our hands, so, and we'll be getting some tempo from this, so we don't mind using up the Tunic. We drew another blue, which is a bit sad. Thinking if we want to Clave? Probably not. Just not worth it. This turn was a little bit weaker, but it still was just like 9 on 2 cards because of Saver Bloodshed being broken. So this Spanish, I guess we'll talk about it a little bit. We have Ignite and Cut Through. Obviously, Cut Through is a 0 for 4. and then Ignite is a 2-1-3-4. So you look at Cut Through and you're like, oh well, Cut Through is obviously the better card. But then Ignite lets him get to Rupture a lot easier. But like, if he wants to Rupture me next turn, he has to go Ignite. What's it called? Dagger, Partner Wheels, Flick, get a resource, attack with the other dagger, and then Lava Burst me. And then that's using the second hit point on his chest, just to get like the full value from Lava Burst. So I actually really like taking Ignite here. And also, it's just a Draconic starter, which is always nice. He can do like Cut Through Fealty as a Draconic starter, which is kind of what we're going to force him to do. Or he's going to pitch to the dagger, which is also insanely good for us. Yeah. He hasn't made the Cut Through Draconic. Which is interesting. So it looks like it's probably just going to be a 4-free Arsenal pass. Oh, no, yeah, this line also makes sense. I guess, yeah, you just don't have to make a Draconic. And then our opponent realized that, yeah, they could get blown up by, like, any prevention, but they're behind. They have to take the risk. So this is like when we're like, I really wish I had the Tunic. But, unfortunately, we don't. We can potentially think of Gambling Mask, because if we hit, like, any disruption, really good for us. If we hit number 6, we like heal. I think this is like I think what I'm thinking about is, do I want a mask? Because no matter what, I will always get like 5 value from the mask. It's sad that the mask is gonna like draw like it doesn't like we won't have go again if we do the mask, but our turn can be Orb Weaver Spinneret into the Prognosis discard if we roll 1 to 5. 1 to 4, sorry, and then we do a Prognosis for 7, Arsenal the Saver, get to play the next turn, and that's still a good turn. So we do decide on the mask. We get very lucky, we roll the 1. So now our Prognosis is 7, banish 2 cards. But yeah, this is the hand with like a Tunic resource we would have been very, very happy with. But we're not going to complain about a Prognosis for 7. That banishes 2. And then without the legs, it's really hard for Cindra to block this. They'd have to draw like a D-React to even like have hope of like having any turn. So it's either block 4, take 7, do 2 cards, or block 3 cards on 7. But if they're all 2 blocks, they might not even be able to block 7 in a way that's good. Yeah, so they just block 4. We're thinking they probably have a D-React, but we're gonna IP ourselves if we don't use the card anyway. So it's just like, yeah, whatever. So they did draw the D-React, but not the free block. So, once again, really good. And then now our hand is just crazy, right? It's 2 Saber Bloodsheds, a blue and a Toxin. Yeah, no blocks, close our eyes, we don't care what's going on. So, I like doing clay first, because I'm just happy to flick the clay if I need to. But what this does is, it lets me... Because they're probably not blocking this anyway, right? We're both 120. If they give me a card here, it's the same as conceding. So when I do both these savers, I now, because I did the clay first, I now have access to, when I flick on the graphene, to draw on the attack declaration. And if I draw any reaction, I just get to instantly use it. So, because we're probably using we're using the Toxin, we're using the Sigil. Ideally, if we draw 1 react, we get to play it and then just arsenal the card if it's unplayable. But if it's also like another, like, let's say it's a Codex, then we're just like, just absolutely gonna juice them. So I think it would be correct to flick here, because they're also just getting to the point where they're low, where like the next hand will kill them without a glaive anyways. Because nothing would be worse if we like don't flick them and then we draw 2 reacts and we just have 3 cards that aren't like we draw the 2 cards that aren't playable and we just feel like an idiot for doing that. But we are like technically like threatening lethal as well because opponents are aware that if we do flick and just draw, we can very easily do 9 on this dagger. So they're just kind of like hedging about not getting completely blown out, murdered in this one cycle. But looks like we're double checking. Do we want to flick? We see, yeah, we've used all 3 savers. We don't really care if they're marked anymore now because we've used all our savers. So let's just try and get the max value we can. And we draw 2 blues. So you didn't get rewarded for the flick, but we can still at least make sure our opponent doesn't get to play the game, which is good enough. So hand doesn't really function in a way that makes us happy, but I think we still have lines with just up sticks, pay for the retrieve, graphene, flick, get the go again on hit, use the tunic, attack with surgical, if we want to do that. If we want to try and go for max numbers line of just trying to get our opponent at reaction speed, doing the tunic, graphene, and then having shred and scar tissue as reactions is good. But here we use the shred just to confirm the mark because it gets us +1 damage on the clave. Like we're in full control of this game. It's like this game like feels like unlosable in this position, especially now that we have the clave back. There was like maybe a world where because we flicked the clave, if we drew like a bunch of blues last turn, we could end up in a losing game state. But now even if we draw like 4 blues, we'll still be able to provide full pressure to win the game. Yeah, this is good. Our opponent's marked, so we're always going to have at least 3 value on 1 card. No, unless we roll the trapdoor, no. It always feels like you roll this when you're in the lead, and you just wanted anything that says push numbers. Yeah, opponent passes. You have trapdoor, there's no reason for them to play. Once again, another good hand. It's just +7 at reaction speed. Our opponent like plays around it to the best of their capabilities, but they're still just dead. And then after this, we could just do like a clay flick the kiss for 2 value. Just there was no outs. Yeah, to be honest, honestly, a really simple game. We just drew disruption, used disruption, blocked with our cards when they were useless, and just kind of pushed some numbers. There is another video coming up. We're kind of just chatting. I should probably like see if I can like skip towards when we start playing again. Yeah. So this time, I think I go first. The lobby broke, so we're just making a new one. So yeah, this is my the sideboarded guide. I'll post a link to this deck in the description. Pretty simple. So while we've got time, we'll just say it. We've sided out just some of the 2 blocks. We have some like little less reactions in the deck right now. Currently, we're just trying to push numbers. We have to make space for like some of the D reacts and the sigils. So we're running 1 inertia, one lair, 2 sigil of solace, and like 3 sync belows. And that's our like defensive. So this hand is awful, but on turn 1, it's amazing. It's just weapon, develop my spinneret, pass turn, happy man. And whenever we develop spinneret this early, it just means that we can use helmet for whatever we want it to. We don't need to have to go into Orb Weaver number 3 just to have consistency. We're also running like 15 blues, so now that we've like used scene 3 of them, there's only like probably gonna have a turn of just emptiness. I forget a flick here, so I'm like, yeah, my bad, bro. 1 sec, let's reload this. There will be a few times we just undo turns because we're just trying to we play a little bit fast sometimes, or we're like discussing and talking things, and then we just forget to do the actual. You think of the line in your head, but you forget to press the buttons on the client. Good for our opponent. He gets to use his loyalty. So now whenever he sees one, he just gets the. So I like to leave my opponent marked here. But I think I'm going to attack him because I think it's unlikely they take any damage. Against like some slower decks, they might actually just take damage so they don't be marked for their next turn. But every life is so important to Cindra that I was just like, I'll make you give me the card. We roll 1, a very disruptive one. This is pretty good. Unfortunately, since we got so blue flooded in the first hand, we didn't see one now. There is an argument. I guess I'll pause a little bit and talk about it. There was a situation where, because we see 3 blues in that opening hand, we did want to pitch them. We pitched them away, just to like help increase our odds of seeing really strong cards like the Saber Bloodsheds. But sometimes, and like especially like slow matchups, I think with Cindra, because none of those cards were disruptive, it was good to cycle them. But like against disruptive slow matchups, and you kind of want like that consistency curve, there's an argument to potentially keep one of the blues, just to make sure that our next turn's good, because we're not using our mask to like go into orb 3. So when you go into orb 3, you don't need to pitch. But if we want to then save our mask because we already have developed our Graphene Charissa, we actually do want like a blue for our turn 2. Because then on turn 3 we can just tunic. So maybe keeping a blue is like something you can do in like a slower game. So just something to think about. But our opponent pitched the Throw Dagger. So they're gonna have a lot of chain links this turn. So blocking them is probably gonna be like not possible unless we want to give up a lot of our hand. And we really like our hand. So we're just mentally accepting that they're gonna draw from mask. I think this is something you need to get comfortable doing. It's just accepting the Cindra player will draw from their mask. When your hand is just worth keeping. So I hope I don't start blocking, but this seems like a hand that I would be happy to keep. Like the small argument is I could like do like a Mark of the Black Widow for like a theoretical 9 with the Shred and Toxin. To like rip 2 cards out of the hand and give up on the Saver. I give up on my value to deny them value. That's a line that could be played. But I think like Saver, pitch to Graphene, give it like the on hit, and then like threaten the Mark on hit afterwards with a flick is also something I'd be quite happy to do. So yeah, look, our opponent doing massive turn. This Wrath isn't as good as they'd want it to be, because they had to start out with some of their daggers to get the Draconic Chainlink start going and like making sure their turn wasn't like skipped. The worst thing here would be like a breaking point, to, like threaten our arsenal. We'd be very sad about that. Thankfully, it's not that. So yeah, we're just gonna push numbers. Yeah, we pitched this scene. We're just gonna throw the Toxin on top of this. We're even discarding the Black Widow because we just want to arsenal the card that we draw. We just want to make sure that no matter what we draw, we've done 15, they bunch card. So look, they got their mass draw in their 5-card hand. And it did 15. And then our turn we did 16 with them banishing a card. So this is what I mean by you're just happy to sometimes just hold the hand and race them down. Also reaction, nice. Plays with her hand very well. We're just looking to like we're just looking to get a good lair here. I think we could lair here potentially, but we're being a little bit greedy with it. They come with 4. We go, yeah, why didn't we just lair on the second one? We tell our opponent that, sorry about this. We did see the cards, it's a little bit of a, we should do this earlier, not get information before, but I think I do remember telling him, I was like, as soon as I passed it, oh, I should have done something. Because here we could like think about blocking with Mask to like deny chain link. Oh, you can just accept he's going to draw. And we're just like, oh, you know what, you can draw your card. Even though we knew we were probably not going to block the next one, it was still correct to layer on the second chain link, because if it is a free, we could have potentially just give legs and head and just keep pushing the tempo lead. Once again, they've drawn Mask twice now. We're just like, it is what it is. You can draw your Mask. We feel a little behind, if I'm being honest. The opponent's blocking 4. This shows that they probably have a D-React. I think I realized this when they block 4 that they have a D-React. Obviously the information's changed, and I've now given my opponent the free information. But I remember saying that I'll pause and talk about. So the way our opponent is blocked here is giving us a signal that they feel comfortable playing around 1 reaction. So why? Because they want to be like, if I block 4, then I D-react, and then I didn't have like anything more than a +3 go again. Because they're expecting it to be red back or something like that, or maybe like just like a scar tissue. And then like, what if I can block this for 8? I just end their turn, and that's insane for me. So if you remember what I talked about in the first game, where I was just like, there are moments where like you have the react and you could hold it because you're going to like try and bait them, because we had the Codex Inertia on the hand that we could like potentially get a really good value on our Codex of Inertia. So in this game, we showed the card, unfortunately. So if we like thought about it for longer than like, because this is like the 2 minutes, because we're like 6 minutes into this game, we're just playing fast. So we should go the scar tissue, and then we should pass, because you might be like, oh, you're wasting your full 6 value of your Tarantula Toxin. But like, I'm not going to win this game from the free damage of Tarantula right now. I would win this game more by making him disrupted and interrupt and have a slower turn. So scar tissue here is, and then that makes my opponent feel like, oh, he only did have the 1 react. I made the right call. Here's my D-react. And if the D-react then comes from the arsenal, then we can get like really good value of the Codex. I think maybe because it was Toxin, maybe I was overcooking. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe this was a bit too much for this situation, and I probably should have just patched in my Tarantula Toxin for max value, and then I go Tunic, Charisma, Flick the Kiss, Arsenal the Codex for another turn. This was like probably like a bit too much of a gamble and a bit of obsession with like the cool line. Because opponent does do the D-react, but then they sit and think, it's like, oh, would I actually D-react? Obviously, we've like clouded their judgment slightly by showing we do have a punish. So our opponent, while he's trying to be neutral about it, he is also like, he's now thinking, because obviously these we were talking here, but I've muted them all, but he's now thinking, would I D-react here? Because this isn't actually got like a threatening on hit, right? Yeah, I get my go again, but what if I hit him with like a Codex into Leave No Witness? For my opponent, that's way scarier. So he thinks about it a bit more and he goes, no, I probably shouldn't D-react. Which is why me not using the Toxin is what I mean by like, I probably cooked a bit too much, overthought it. What I should have done was, I should have Toxined here, kept the scar tissue, do the tunic Charissa line, where I flick the kiss and I leave the scar tissue, and then he ends his turn marked. And I also let Codex transform, and he goes into his turn marked. And then if I was lower and I was threatening, death was threatening me, then I should go all reacts on this, Codex of Inertia, giving up the 2 value of the kiss to try and high roll a react on the Charissa, which is also not that good when I think about it more. I think it was better to just play this guy Tranche Toxin because he's blocked 4, then go for the Charissa, flicking the kiss death and giving it the scar tissue. If I scar tissue on the kiss and when I flick it, I get 1 more damage because he'll be marked. The Charissa gets the +1 coming base. So if I'm trying to do max numbers, everything here, Charissa, flick kiss, and then attack with the Charissa for 2. That equals, so it'll be, it would have been what, 10 into 1, takes 11, then he takes 2 from the Charissa, 2 from the thing, so it'll be 15 total damage on these cards, and then I'd have an arsenal. But yeah. Yeah. Now I think because I didn't do that line, I'm committed to playing the Codex of Inertia this turn. So I flick. So this is always fun when the Kiss Death keeps the mark. I just come in for 5. And then my opponent's like, oh well. And now I think this is a good spot for my opponent to D-react me, because he takes 1, loses the mark. I in his eyes, I don't transform. He still loses to like a Codex of Frailty, but I don't think I've developed a Leave No Witness, so it's less scary. But I might not have Codex of Frailty, but I do have a Codex of Inertia. Which then, I do get lucky here. Oh, sorry. Got to move the thing bar out of the way. I do get lucky here. And hit a Leave No Witness. It was just like my Codex of Frailty at home. My opponent does have the overcrowded, so he just blocks me out. Checking what's being used. Hopefully we get a good ponder. Please don't be a blue. Please don't be a blue. Codex of Frailty. That's a pretty good one. I should D-react here. This turn's not going to be much. I want to get the full value. I probably cycle the Command and Conquer because it's like the least playable card in my hand. This is a really good mark draw. So my opponent has to play the card because he's under inertia. This is where like the inertia into the frailty is really good at just making the disruptions just chain. Force him to have no arsenal, so that my next form of Codex will always hit. This is why even though the card's a 2-block, I still run it in the matchup. I obviously did make me overcook a little bit in the last turn, but I got rewarded by the gods. And then this is, once again, really easy hand. Just Clave, get him marked. Attacking with the shred means I don't have to flick it. Because my opponent has the overcrowded, I know my Codex of Frailty is not going to be as devastating. It's still going to remove a card, but he gets to handle it on just the overcrowded. So I need to like prioritize keeping the Clave. There is my opponent's probably not blocking this mark, so I'm probably not getting the shred value anyways. Yeah, really easy mark. So okay, there's a line I want to talk about here. Like the default position is you just do 7. He loses a card. He goes to 9. You make him discard when you do the frailty. He blocks with the overcrowded. He has a free card hand from his hand to pressure us. If we felt like we needed to push a little bit more numbers, what we can do here is we pass on reactions. He goes 4, he takes 12. Because we have the one floating that's not getting used, we go Graphene Chelicera, and then we flick the clave. And then because these marked, we then do the stain to the red back. And then the clave is with the flick's with 2 value because we're base mode. So we do an extra 5 this turn. So we get 1 damage from the Chelicera, and we get 2 damage from the clave. We get an extra 1 damage from the flick. It's always worth 1, but we're making worth 2. So we'd come in for 4, puts him to 12, and then we do the Chelicera for 5, which then puts him down to 7, and then so we get like an extra 2 value if we felt like we needed to push that. But with 12 life, we don't need to do that because that also gets blown out by like a instant discard from shelters, which he shows us that he does have. But I just thought I'd bring up the line because it's something to like worth thinking about, especially when you're trying to push out like every like value you can on a turn. That we could, if we wanted to be a little bit more risky, and give up the clave here, get 2 extra value. And you could say that you're gonna like you'll be checking if they have the de-react on the first attack, because if you pass reactions, they might de-react onto your 4, just to like be like, well, if it might stop me, it might just end their turn. Yeah, new Super Slam card, doing good work for my opponent. We Arsenal blue, but at least it's got some relevant text if we flick. So, good reward for not doing the flick line. So, we helmet here, because if we roll a 6, we can mark him, which we'll be very happy about. If we roll 5, we're doing a dagger turn, so it's going to be valuable. And then if we roll 1 to 4, we can turn any card into what we want it to be, which will be relevant because we have a stealth card in our arsenal. So whatever, if we go like for next turn, I'm assuming we're going to go Saver, Orb Weaver, pitch the red back, flick the clave, use it to the point. So the reason we pitch the red back is, we shouldn't play the Orb Weaver. We should save it to maybe discard because we're not going to draw on the hit. So we go Saver, pitch the red back, play that to the point. We can think about discarding the Orb Weaver, but we can also save it to use on the arsenal just to make the number a little bit bigger. Depends if we're trying to like kill them in a reaction speed or not. We rolled 1, so we're probably going to use it on the clave now. On the graphene, because it's got a non-hit disruption. Our opponent gets a 0 for 4. Congratulate them. Yeah, so I think I play this and then I go, wait, what am I doing? I'm Black Widow. I should just keep the card. But we'll see if I realize. Ah, we did. We realized before our opponent showed us cards. Good start. If we're gambling, man, we could try and gamble the draw, for the discard, because the Orb Weaver will always be +3 on the blue in our arsenal. But we do have some generics left in our decks, and it's it's a weird risk. So opponents, depending how the block is, this is very easily you're going to die numbers. So they're probably thinking they have to at least give us something, but then as they give us anything, their turn just gets worse and worse, because if we do get over the top, then they just get boomed by our by Black Widow making them banish a card as well. So I think he's like, I can't play around Toxin. I think he's already seen 2. He's like, I need to block this to a point where I just hope you don't have like a reaction to get over it. He's just doing the maths, thinking if he needs to give any equipment, how many cards he needs to give. What's the best way for him to block us? Yeah. I'm a little impatient, if you can tell by how I like move my mouse and stuff. But he knows I have the Black Widow reaction, and I think he's just deciding that I think he just has to play in a way that I don't have a +3, because if he full blocks me, and let's say he's like, he calls out the +3 and he's like, I gotta then save these cards for next turn anyways, but also he loses all his fealty. So ideally for him, he would like to keep his fealty, because they are like really good at smoothing them out and giving access to the 1-for-5 win damage to like help win the game. So I think he wants to like keep at least one card, play a Draconic card for fealty next turn. So even if it's like a generic, he just turns it Draconic to keep all the fealty. So yeah. Tough position for our opponent here. Always hard to block decks that do all their damage at reaction speed. Yeah, so they decide to block 9, trying to keep the card. But obviously, yeah, we do both our reactions on it. We don't have go again, so our turn's just going to end here. But his turn ends as well. So we don't flick to draw because we didn't have go again. So instinctively you think, oh, well, I should just flick my orb on, so I should flick my Graphenes for 1 damage, because I'm going to replace it. But as we've been doing in some of the other turns, we want to potentially use our flick to draw a card at reaction speed, to then use on the chain in that specific moment, which is what we're going to do here. We use the +3 as well, just because we want to make this as scary as possible for our opponent. We can make like one of the potential follow-up on hits have it, but we're probably not keeping the clave. We're not going to flick the clave on one of these other attacks, and he's going to lose the mark when he gets hit here, because we're probably flicking it now. So the card in our arsenal is always probably just going to come in for 1 without text, and then this prognosis, well, at least thankfully has some text even if they're not marked. Once again, just putting our opponent in tough decisions. These games haven't had like too many like interesting talking points. It's kind of just been showing you that it's just an aggro race. We're just trying to kill each other as fast as possible. But it's just trying to show you that like it's okay to let them draw from masks. Once you get like really paranoid about the masks, it's how you like play into the dangerous game of just letting Cindra slowly take over. Your hands have to be like really incompetent to be comfortable blocking them. Yeah, our opponent's all 2 blocks. They're like, I can't not block. I'm just gonna die. I guess you just draw your card, and then he's like, just kill me. I'm like, I would love to, but I don't have anything. So I'm gonna do 1. And then I was like, oh, I should do the 1 without text, but I was like, oh, I could do the prognosis to try and heal 1, but I should just do the 1 without text just in case. I could even break my legs here just to do 1 damage. Just to like really like push as much as I can right now. Oh. A little laggy. Don't know why. Sorry about that. Yeah, once again, just attack with the clave. Not really blockable for our opponent. We do want them to be marked, so we're probably not flicking the kiss this turn. So we're just going to get the max value of our Orb Weaver Spinneret in our hand. We're going to use this Scar Tissue just to get them low, and then have them be hit, unhit, be marked. We could also have used To the Point here, but we're in no rush. We're probably killing them on the next attack anyways. And we still have we still have access to a bunch of stuff. Let's say they had like all heals in their hand and they somehow survived. Then we still have the ability to just go Kiss of Death. We just have the ability to do we do the Chalice right here, make them block, keep them marked, keep the go again. We're threatening like a reaction. But yeah. We just know we have them like in lethal range. We're in no rush to try and use our cards. Just get max value out of each card this turn, and no matter what they do, they're just gonna die. But yeah, that was the video. It was just nice, simple game going first. A nice, simple game going second. We made a few misplays, I would say, by just overcomplicating the turns. We got slightly bailed out with our luck when we did that. Like the inertia line into the Leave No Witness is something that shouldn't be happening on average. But sometimes you do have to lean into it. That one I didn't have to. But I think after making the mistake, then leaning into it's correct. And just making sure you don't like agonize over a mistake as well is always useful. But yeah. I'll try and do some more reviewing of games and stuff in like the next coming weeks. It's also good for practice and like self-learning. But yeah, that's me. I'll be bowing out now. Have a lovely day.